Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
So few things. Firstly, memories of going to Meherabad. I think all of you went more often than we did, but the few times I've gone, I have very fond memories. I remember the train ride. That is the ultimate, one of the highlights of memories of holidays. So, Jai Baba. Another highlight of Meherabad I remember is going with Amma. I don't think it's Amartithi Amma. Silence Day. Silence.
Silence Day. Cassettes, CDs release.
Correct. On Silence Day, Amma was doing dumb charade marketing for Silent Melodies. I remember there was some who was trying to silence her, but that was also another fond memory of Meherabad. But I think,
Kiran, one miracle happened that day night. If you remember, one person came.
Yeah. But I just.
That's very good incident. I'm asking whether he remembers that.
Yeah. Okay. And so I'm just saying, I'm connecting to then, of course. So clearly, a lot of fond memories with Meherabad. I think if you come now to Amartithi and Baba and that particular day, I was just reflecting on that. Two things. One is, I think, Mano, when we started this Sidhu, I think it was you, Sidhu, you said, you talked about the importance of repentance prayer and how you focus on that. So this year, actually, I said this year, New Year, let me try to read Baba's prayer on every day and focus on the words and contemplate on it. So repentance prayer, try to think, as you read the words, just think about it and how you are doing yourself. So there's some contemplation that it offers. So I think that has been very good. And I think any form of prayer that way is good. But I think one thing for us to remember is we have a lot of memories which actually are more social, or they may link to Baba's dropping of the body, which if you read Baba's books, there's reference to Baba saying, reference to God-man, right? Baba's God-man. So I think after Baba dropped his body, basically God-man dropped man. So what remains is God. So maybe like any other religion, we should focus on the God more than the man in some ways. So that is just a thought that came to mind. I think prayer is a way of doing it. Baba's prayers, it allows contemplation, introspection. Amma, you sent some text, Kada. I'll just read one section of that. I think is very nice. It is. It refers to hired prayer, hired, H-I-R-E-D, prayer, or thought. Any medium is most undesirable. So this is about prayer, how, it focuses on the self versus hiring someone to do your prayer. Prayers worshipped and entreaties to God can never be hired. Repeating my name wholeheartedly is itself the greatest prayer that one can offer spontaneously, for which no time or place is required. It is bad for a person who has no time to pray himself to want to have it done through a medium. This is total foolishness and completely absurd. It is an excuse and a useless pretext. It does not hold water. It is an insult to one's common sense. Can prayer, worship, or entreaties to God ever be hired? It is beyond one's imagination, while still being lured by Maya. It is like throwing the burden of one's action on the shoulders of others and paying them money to take him to God. It is pretense for keeping oneself immersed in Mayavic pleasures. A person says, I have no time to pray. Why not? Because one is unwilling to spare time for it. It is a meaningless excuse to cover up one's preoccupation with the world and lack of time due to one's desires to remain involved in Mayavic pursuits. The mind is entrapped in Maya and does not want to be freed and so achieve merit. A person offers hired prayers. Can this ever result in any meritorious action or virtue? If you want to remember or offer God, worship to God, do it honestly and loyally. All your heart and mind, even if you can only remember or pray to Him a few minutes each day. Do it sincerely. Compared to babbling for hours on end, a sincere prayer of 2 minutes has more effect. It immediately reaches God's ears. The reason is that God always listens to the voice of the heart. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Karan. Next, Pavan. Are you there? Durbainda Meher?
No, she slept.
Very
So it's good. I'm just 1 second. I'm sorry.
sure.
I'm also going to read something, so I'm just trying to set it up. Uh, I just want to mention two two things that I tried to. One, Amma sent it to me, and it's a very nice thing. I'm going to share and read that. And the second one was a small video I was seeing earlier this evening. So I just wanted to share very, very briefly about what I heard in that video. Okay. So like Kiran said, yeah, we visited Meherabad a fewer times. I've never been to the Amartithi. In fact, I hope that once all this COVID and everything goes and when travel becomes easier, I definitely want to visit Amartithi once at least. Amma cheptu untundi, but I always felt let's go to Meherabad at a quieter time rather than Amartithi. So many people will be there, and that was what is always played in my mind, Anmata. Better to go to Meherabad when it's quieter and less crowded was always a bigger influence for me. But I think it's that is something that I plan to do once travel becomes easier and more convenient. Okay. So one of the things that whenever I used to go to Meherabad or whenever Amma used to keep telling me, go to Meherabad, go to Meherabad, go to Meherabad, she used to tell um, one thing, and I've read also in literature that the power of Baba's Samadhi, there is a tremendous amount of power in that Samadhi, and that's one of the key reasons. Baba himself has mentioned that. And that's one of the key reasons why going to Meherabad and spending time in the Samadhi has always been encouraged, Anmata. So I'm going to read a little bit of an extract of that importance of Baba's Samadhi, all right, on this occasion. The Samadhi or tomb shrine is next important to the proximity of the physical presence of Avatar Meher Baba. The tomb on Meherabad Hill beyond the railway line was built under Meher Baba's directions in 1927 over a site where he had sat in the seclusion in early days at Meherabad. It was then called the Dome. In 1938, Meher Baba had his Samadhi tomb shrine constructed on Meherabad Hill using for this purpose stones from the old post office building, which was demolished earlier. On the top of Samadhi is covered with the word mastery in servitude, and the symbol of 4 major religions are at each corner: Hinduism, Om; Islam, crescent moon; Zoroastrian, fire; and Christian cross. During February 1958, Sahwa's program, Baba said, while bowing down at the tomb, I want you to remember 2 things. To love me wholeheartedly. Love does not mean the outward expression. You should love me in such a way that you forget yourself in me. The beloved. If you cannot love me, I will love you and you will be my beloved. 2. To give happiness to others at the cost of your own happiness or comfort. Okay. So these are Baba's words. Meher Baba also said, in assurance to his lovers, after my passing away, whatever you ask for at my tomb, from the bottom of your heart, I will give. Baba's tomb or Samadhi is a symbol of unity of all religions. The importance of Baba's Samadhi. The 100 years after the manifestation of the avatar is the period of encompassing the direct living and personal radiation of avatar. This quotation has been interpreted by some to mean that being in Samadhi during the avataric period is equal to being in Baba's physical presence. If true, this interpretation takes on extraordinary significance when put in the context of the next quotation. Baba said it was important for anyone aspiring to have spiritual benefits to visit the tomb time and again to imbibe the impressions of the impressionless one. The one who asks for my love will be the chosen one. Baba's Samadhi is a great place to ask for Baba's love from the depth of one's heart. Baba has said before dropping his body, now the shop is open. He has really opened his wine shop in the tomb, and he is inviting humanity to come there to drink. What a beautiful place his tomb is. The tomb is the divine treasure. Oh humanity, don't miss the opportunity to drink the wine when the shop is open. The beloved is distributing wine ceaselessly without a break. What a gift is given at his tomb. The tomb is the divine treasure. Benefits drawn from Perfect Master's tomb. After Perfect Master leaves the body, he enjoys eternal bliss, and through the power is with him, he cannot use it. For this reason, at the tomb or samadhi of Perfect Master or Sadguru, there is spiritual power, but it is the faith of the people in the disembodied Master which becomes the medium to utilize that power. It is for this reason that people derive benefits by revering a Sadguru or a Perfect Master's tomb. But the benefits accruing from such sources and drawn upon by the individual's faith is invariably material in nature. Jai Baba. So, I feel there were some errors, but yeah, I think basically talks about the power of the Samadhi, especially in the first 70 to 100 years. And I think all of us are fortunate enough to be able to be aware of this and also make full use of this. So this is one part. Very quickly, I will talk about a video that I was listening to by a gentleman called Jimmy Khan. First time I'm hearing his video. I don't know him. I think Amma knows him. Ravi Mai, do you know who this person is?
Yeah, I met
Jimmy
him in
Khan.
MeherBaba last time I was there. Yeah.
Okay. So I was seeing a video of his, and he was talking about, in the video, he was talking about the 7 days that was after January 31st. Amma spoke a lot about leading to the January 31st, 1969. And this video, I'm not going into the details. It is a 40-minute video. I will send that video on our group, and everybody can go through that video. It was quite interesting, very grounded of the events, how people were taking trains, people leaving in the night when they got news of it. It was very interesting. But he spoke about two, three, I won't call it theories, but versions of why it was extended to 7 days, you know. Uh, because the doctors, there were at least three key doctors at that point in time, right? After Baba dropped his body, there was Dr. Goher, Dr. Donkins, and Dr. Ginde. And as a doctor and as a medical profession, they were always recommending that they should quickly finish the whole process, you know, of closing the tomb and everything and getting it completed. And it was at 12:15 p.m. when Baba dropped his body, and I think the original plan was the next day, 1st February, 8 a.m. was meant to be the time for completing the ceremony of, you know, closing this whole process and matter. But I think logistically, Mandali members were saying a lot of people need to travel from all over India, right, to come and attend. And many people are very, very sensitive and sentimental to this. So I think they decided to delay it by a while. And one story was about the fact that Baba said that he would come back in 7 days, which was Feb 7th, which is the seventh day, which also happened to be Baba's birthday by the Zoroastrian calendar. Okay, so that is one thing. But what this gentleman was mentioning, and he said that he got a lot of first-hand confirmations of what had happened. was there is another person called Dorab. Okay, Dorab.
Satta.
I'm not.
Dorab
Huh?
Satta. Satta. Dorab Satta. Dorab Satta. SATTA.
Amma, voice is sounding very different.
వినిపిస్తుంది గీత
Dorab Satta. Okay, whatever. Say
వినిపించింది
Dorab,
గీత
Dorab.
వినిపించింది
Got it.
Satta.
Whatever
And
name,
Dorab
carry
Satta.
on. Dorab Satta. Okay,
Okay.
carry on.
వినిపించింది గీత
అమ్మ అమ్మ అంటున్నాడు అంతే. సరే, carry on. Carry on, Pavan.
Just pause. Yeah.
నీ అరుపులకి
So
ఆడికి
Dorab
గుండె
Satta.
గాబరా వచ్చినట్టుంది, కొంచెం రెస్ట్ కావాలి.
So Dorab Satta was a Baba lover. He was not a Mandali member or anything of that sort. He was a Baba lover, and he was, I think, a resident of Nagar, Ahmednagar, and like every other
Evesimam.
youngster at that point in time, he can everybody mute themselves, please, if you don't mind. Just for 2 minutes, I'll finish this. Then others can talk. Yeah. So Dorab Satta was a person who was from Nagar, from Ahmednagar, and like most youngsters at that point in time, there was not much employment opportunities akadannamata. So he was working in Bombay as his profession. Baba, he was a great Baba lover. Baba used to constantly ask him to go to these different small stalls, footpath book stalls, and get books from saints. And interestingly, this person used to have a lot of one-on-ones with Baba at Mehrazad. So he would go to Mehrazad. He and Baba would be locked inside a room. Nobody else used to be in that room. And it felt like some sort of a conversation was happening. But the reality is Baba would not speak. And it felt to many Mandali members that Baba was explaining those books that he used to buy from the footpaths and from the stalls and matter. So that was the sort of one interesting history. Another history was once him, another Adi K. Rani Junior, MeherBaba, and one more gentleman were going in the car, and Baba asked this Dorab Satta to sit behind. Adi Garu was driving the car, and there was one more gentleman next to him. And as they are driving, they can hear this Dorab mentioning Hanji, 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 yes, Baba, yes, Baba. From behind, when they look, Baba is not making any signs or talking any language. And it felt like some conversation is happening behind them. And he kept saying Hanji, 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 and whatever. So this is some of the incidents. And so what happened was Dorab, for whatever reasons, on 31st was not communicated that Baba had dropped his body. And the next day in the morning, he was having a shower at 7 in the morning, and his cousin came and knocked at the door. So this is 1st February, knocked at the door and told him, Dorab, I want to tell you a news, and Baba has dropped his body. And he could not handle it. He started sobbing inside the room. He said, how come I'm not even made aware of it? All the Baba lovers in Bombay have already gone there, and I'm going to miss. And then the cousin said, by the way, 8 a.m. is the time when the whole thing is going to be done. There is no ways he can go from Bombay to MeherBaba at that time. And then there is a vision he got from Baba saying that get it extended for 7 more days. There are a lot of lovers who would need to see me before I and he had a conversation with Baba apparently in the bathroom that who's going to listen to me, Baba? I'm just a lover of yours. All the Mandali members are going to make the decision. They are the ones who will make all the decisions. Who's going to listen and take my word seriously? So Baba said, you go to Meherabad and do it. This is what apparently happened. He went over there. He went to Erich Garu. He went and informed him about this. For whatever reasons, Erich took it very seriously. There was a discussion amongst the Mandali members. There was a lot of logistics discussed. They discussed with the doctors. Doctors were against it at all times that it should be thing. But eventually the decision was taken, especially with a lot of support from the women Mandali members, that it should be kept for 7 days in the broader interest of what Baba wanted it to be, and in the broader interest of the lovers of Baba to be able to come and visit. So I just happened to see this video. I just thought it was something about history, and this was again reiterated by Dr. Goher back in Myrtle Beach at some point in time, several years later, apparently. So it was just a piece of history that sounded a little bit intriguing and interesting. What spiritual impact or importance, I do not understand, but I thought I'll mention it. Jai Baba.
I want to come, Ravi, for 2
Jai
minutes. Can I? Pawan చెప్పిందానికి. Okay.
చెప్పు.
Pawan, we were following minute by minute that time. What was happening, every news and matter. Dorab Satta and Ayana, Rich Gary Manamama. Okay. Money, as soon as passed away, Dr. Ginde చెప్పాడు next day cremate చేయాలని. She was protesting and crying because Mehra also wanted to do it. And as a doctor, every day we test and decide. Number one is Baba's body, how it was on 31st, same freshness ఉంది. Okay. Plus number 7 is Baba's favorite number. That day, Zoroastrian calendar prakaram Baba's birthday. So they have given value for Mehra's opinion. Okay. She preferred that way, not any other thing. That day we are getting every minute we are following the news. Okay. This is thing. These some of them they have vision. So many people, and even Nazu Kotwal had a vision that he was carrying in the flowers and all. Next day it happened, okay. So actually it happened on Mehra's interest to make her happy. Every day the doctors were testing the body. It was very fresh till 7th day. 7th day was decided because Baba's birthday, 7th, Zoroastrian calendar, and Baba Mehra make her happy. And seventh number 7, Baba's favorite number, 7 planes. Alaga. That is the real news we all believe. Jai Baba.
ఏ బాబా గీత ఇంకెవరైనా ఉన్నారో మాట్లాడే గౌతమ్ ఉన్నాడా
భార్గవిని చూశాను.
ఓకే
ఇక్కడే
గౌతమ్
ఉన్నారు.
భార్గవి చెప్పినానా?
ఎప్పుడు వింటుంటాం కానీ డీటెయిల్డ్గా నాకు ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ తెలీదు. కానీ ఈరోజు బాగా ఎంజాయ్ చేశాను. అంటే హౌ ఇట్ హ్యాపెన్, ఇవన్నీ ఒక్కొక్కళ్ళ ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్ అవన్నీ చెప్పారు కదా, చాలా మోర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. జై బాబా.
వెరీ గుడ్. గౌతమ్ ఉన్నాడా లేడా? ఈ లెఫ్టా గౌతమ్?
ఒక్కసారి గౌతమ్కి, గౌతమ్ నీ కోసం బాబా 3 couplets చదివినప్పుడు యూ కేమ్ ఇన్ మై మైండ్. గౌతమ్ షుడ్ లిసన్ దీస్ 3 హఫీజ్ పాయింట్స్. బాబా దిస్ ఈజ్ మెంట్ ఫర్ గౌతమ్ అని విన్నావా నువ్వు?
ఎవరు చెప్పారు?
నేను చెప్పినప్పుడు 3 couplets బాబా
హఫీజ్ చెప్పాడు.
యూనివర్సల్ వర్క్ అని బాబా గారు నీకు చెప్పాలని చెప్పారా, అది యూనివర్సల్ వర్క్ అని.
గివ్ మీ 2 minutes ఫర్ హిస్ సేక్. నిజంగా గౌతమ్ వినాలి అని ఒక్క 2 minutes. ఓకే, వింటున్నావా గౌతమ్? బాబా హఫీజ్ కప్లెట్స్ ని మెహరాబాద్ మండలి హాల్లో పెట్టారు. బిఫోర్ హీ వాజ్ డ్రాపింగ్ ద బాడీ ఆయన ఆ బోర్డు తెమ్మని చదవమన్నారు. 2 సార్లు చదివించుకున్నారు. లిజన్, దిస్ ఈస్ హఫీజ్ కప్లెట్. Befitting, first couplet, befitting a fortunate slave, carry out every command of the master without any question of why and what. First couplet. Second one, about what you hear from the master, never say it is wrong, because, my dear, the fault lies in your own incapacity to understand him. Third one, I am the slave of the master who has released me from ignorance. Whatever my master does is of the highest benefit to all concerned. And Baba used to give importance for obedience. Or yes, you can ask questions. బట్ ఈక్వల్గా దేవుడికి ఈక్వల్గా ఐ కాంట్ క్వశ్చన్ వై డిడ్ యూ సే దట్ వై ఓకే ఇన్ లైటర్ సెన్స్ ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ యూ. జై బాబా. నువ్వు మైండ్లోకి వచ్చావు ఇది రాస్తున్నప్పుడు ఈ 3 couplets పేపర్.
ఎందుకంటే నేను ఒబీడియంట్ కాదని
మారిపోయాడు గౌతమ్, మారిపోయాడు. చెప్పరా, మారిపోయిన గౌతమ్ చెప్పరా ఇప్పుడు. ఆణిముత్యాలు రాని
నాకు బాబా ఏం చెప్పారు అనేది ఐ డోంట్ నో మచ్ అబౌట్ దాట్. బట్ నా ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్ బేసికలీ 3 phases అన్నమాట. ఫస్ట్ ఫేజ్ ఏంటంటే చిన్నప్పుడు, బాగా చిన్నప్పుడు ఒకసారి 2 సార్లు నాకు తెలిసి వెళ్ళినట్టున్నాం. బట్ బేసికలీ నాకు తెలిసి మాత్రం అమ్మ వెళ్ళేది, మేము మాత్రం నేను తమ్ముడు మాత్రం ట్రైన్ బయట కూర్చుని అమ్మ వెళ్ళిపోతుందో అని ఏడుపు అనమాట. ఒకసారి 2 సార్లు ఫ్యూ టైమ్స్ వెళ్ళినట్టున్నాం చిన్నప్పుడు. అంటే నాట్ దట్ ఐ డోంట్ మచ్ అబౌట్ దట్, బట్ ఇట్ వాస్ మోర్ ఆఫ్ ఏ వెకేషన్ టైప్ అనమాట. బట్ మోర్ దాన్ దట్ నా 10th క్లాస్ అప్పుడు మీ అండ్ ప్రసన్న, ఇందాక ప్రవీణ్ చెప్పాడు కదా, సో we used to go like 3 days before only, 3 days before and do all the volunteering work. కొత్తగా వచ్చేది, we used to organize that. నెక్స్ట్ ఏమో బాత్రూమ్స్ లో నీళ్లు కరెక్ట్ గా వాడుతున్నారా, నీళ్లు సరిగ్గా ఉన్నాయా లేదా అదొకటి చూసుకోవడం. అండ్ దెన్ దే యూస్ టు బెట్టింగ్ ఉండేది, ఎవరికెవరికి వాళ్ళు బెట్టింగ్, ఆ బెట్టింగ్ వేసుకుని అక్కడ పడుకోవాలన్నమాట టెంట్స్ లో. సో మేము పడుకుంది 2 రాత్రులు, బట్ నాట్ మచ్ ఆఫ్ స్లీప్ దేర్, బోర్డ్ అంత బాగా, బట్ ఇట్ వాస్ ఫన్. ఐ రిమెంబర్ దట్ వెరీ మచ్. అండ్ దట్ యూస్ టు బి నైస్. అప్పుడు ప్రవీణ్ ప్రసన్న వీళ్ళు చెప్పేవారు ఏం చేయాలి, ఎలా చేయాలి, ఎలాగే చేయాలి అనమాట. సో వండర్ఫుల్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్. థర్డ్ ఫేజ్ ఏంటంటే మెడికల్ వాలంటీర్ గా అమ్మతో పాటు వెళ్ళేవాడిని. చూసేవాళ్ళం, చాలా మంది చూసేవాళ్ళం. అండ్ the one small quirk advantage we had is we get to sleep in the medical camp అనమాట, in the office itself. Shelves ఉండేవి, rugs ఉండేవి. So we used to be protected against the cold. So బాగుండేది. And that was 3 phases అనమాట. అండ్ బాబా గారిది యూస్ టు బి ఫుల్ ఆఫ్ సర్వీస్. ఇంకా అక్కడ ఏంటి మనకి అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏంటి అని ఆలోచించడం ఇలాగే ఉండేది కాదు. సో దట్ వాజ్ టోటలీ డిఫరెంట్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ బాబా గారు అప్పుడు చేసినప్పుడు, ఈ వాలంటీర్ వర్క్ చేసినప్పుడు. సో యా, దట్స్ అ స్మాల్ బ్రీఫ్ ఇన్ దిస్ వన్. అంతే, దానికన్నా మరి బాబా గారు ఏం చెప్పారు అనేది ఐ డోంట్ నో మచ్ అబౌట్ దాట్. చదివింది కూడా తక్కువే కదా.
వెరీ గుడ్ గౌతమ్, జై బాబా. అందరూ అయిపోయారా? ఇంకెవరైనా ఏమైనా చెప్పాల్సి ఉందా?
సిద్ధిగాడు ఉన్నాడు.
సిద్ధిగాడు అయిపోయాడు, ఫస్ట్
వాడు ఓన్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ చెప్పలా.
సిద్ధు చెప్పాడు కదా,
చెప్పాడు ఫస్ట్ లో.
మెహరాబాద్ చెప్పు.
అరే మెహరాబాద్ చెప్పరా తమ్ము.
మెహరాబాద్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ భలే ఉండేది. నాకు లాస్ట్ గుర్తుంది. ఎప్పుడు నేను నువ్వు లేవనుకుంటారా నా ట్రిప్కి, ఆయన్ని నేను ఎట్లాగైనా వస్తాను సర్వీస్ కంటే పట్టుకెళ్ళారు. ప్రవీణ్ ఏమో బస్సుల డ్యూటీ, ప్రసన్న ఏమో మెడికల్ డ్యూటీ. నన్ను తీసుకెళ్లి దొడ్ల దగ్గర పడేశారు రాత్రి. అది ఎప్పుడు 12 నుండి 3 దాకా. ఎవరైనా బకెట్లు మగ్గులు వదిలేస్తే తేవాలన్నమాట. అబ్బా అంత దరిద్రపు డ్యూటీయో అది. ఎవడు నీళ్లు కొట్టేవాడు కాదు, ఎండిపోయేది, వాసన, దరిద్రం. అప్పుడు నా లైఫ్ టర్నింగ్ ఈవెంట్. ఎప్పుడు కమోడ్ నీట్ గా పెట్టుకొని కడుక్కునేవాడిని. అప్పుడు అర్థమైంది అనమాట కమోడ్ నీట్ గా పెట్టుకోవాలి అని. అప్పటి నుండి అది లైఫ్ చేంజింగ్ హ్యాబిట్ అది.
సిద్ధు, మా బెంగళూరు బాయ్స్ దే చూస్ క్లీనింగ్ ద లాట్రిన్స్ రా. దే ఫీల్ చాలా సేవ చేస్తున్నాం అన్న హ్యాపీనెస్. అందరూ సమాధి సర్వీస్ దే చూస్, బట్ దే ఆర్ చూసింగ్ బై బెంగళూరు భూషణ్ వీళ్ళందరూ చూస్ క్లీనింగ్ ద లాట్రిన్స్.
ఈజీ అత్త, వాడికి కొద్దిగా ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇవ్వాలత్త. నీళ్లు కొద్దిగా కొట్టమని చెప్తే ఆ గొడవ ఉండదు.
అప్పుడు నువ్వు అక్కర్లేదు, సర్వీస్ అక్కర్లేక నీళ్లు కొడుతుంటే. Your service is to clean the next person the commodes. జై
ఈ సంస్కారాలన్నీ సగం క్లియర్ అయిపోయినాయి సిద్ధు దానివల్ల.
అందుకే నేను కమోడ్ శుభ్రం కడుక్కుంటాను, అందుకే అనేసి.
రవి నువ్వు చెప్పు రవి నెక్స్ట్.
ఓకే, లాస్ట్లో నేను. ఓకే, జై బాబా. సో బాబా గారు పోవటం వరకు గీత చెప్పింది. సో బాబా పోవటం అనేది చాలా న్యాచురల్గా జరిగిందనమాట. He always used to, even though he was God incarnate, but he never used to do any extraordinary powers. So he things always happened very naturally. About 20 years ago, I happened to talk to Nausharwan Anzar, and I don't remember why I asked him, is there any work to be done? So ఒక క్యాసెట్ పంపించాడు అనమాట. క్యాసెట్ పంపించి ట్రాన్స్లేట్ చేసి పంపించమన్నాడు. సరే, అది ఏంటంటే యురిచ్ నేరేట్ చేసింది బాబా గారు పోవటం, యురిచ్ నేరేట్ చేసిన ఇన్సిడెంట్. అది ఐ ట్రై టు లుక్ ఫర్ ఇట్. చాలా బాగుందనమాట. ఇట్స్ అ లాంగ్ పేజ్, ఫ్యూ పేజెస్. అది ఎక్కడ దొరకలేదు నాకు. దాంట్లో కొన్ని ఇన్సిడెన్సెస్ చాలా హత్తుకుపోయినాయి అనమాట నాకు. అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ డూయింగ్ దట్ వర్క్, ట్రాన్స్లేట్ చేసి విని బాబా గారు యురిచ్ మాట్లాడింది మెహరాజాద్లో మండలి హాల్లో, అది అనమాట. అది రికార్డ్ చేశారు, దాన్ని ట్రాన్స్లేట్ చేయడం అనమాట. అండ్ సో బాబా గారు పోయే ముందు 2-3 days ముందర బాబా గారు యూస్ టు సఫర్ ఎ లాట్ విత్ దీస్ చాలా పెద్ద ఇవి వచ్చేవన్నమాట. దాన్ని ఏమంటారండి, muscle cramps and spasms. And sometimes he used to go up above the bed. The whole body used to go up with that shock anamata, with that electric shock. And then that used to cause a lot of pain. And all these mandali used to hold him onto the bed, and Baba gave instructions to bow to hit him on the chest anamata. ఈయన పాపం చాలా బాధపడుతూ చేసేవాడు. బాబా గారిని చెస్ట్ మీద కొట్టడం అనేది చాలా బాధపడుతూ చేశాడు. ఒక మూమెంట్లో బాబా అట్టర్డ్ అనే ఒక సౌండ్ అనమాట, ఓం అనే సౌండ్ లాంటిది వచ్చిందని చెప్పి యురిచ్ వాజ్ మెన్షనింగ్. బట్ యురిచ్ విన్నాడు. అదేమో అదే టైంకి బాబా కల్చరీ నో వి డిడ్ంట్ హియర్ అంటాడు అనమాట. మొత్తానికి బాబా మేడ్ ఎ సౌండ్. అది యురిచ్ చెప్పిన అది. And that is probably his breaking silence. అది ఒక వర్షను. అనదర్ వర్షన్ ఏంటంటే బాబా డ్రాపింగ్ ద బాడీ, బికాస్ బాబా has always been mentioning, I'm going to break my silence before leaving the body అని. సో ఈ 2 ఇన్స్టెన్సెస్ అనమాట. తర్వాత ఈ బ్రేకింగ్ ఆఫ్ ద సైలెన్స్ ఆర్ పాసింగ్ అవే, డ్రాపింగ్ ద బాడీ, అప్పుడు ఎవరు చెప్పలేదు. కానీ తర్వాత బాబా కల్చరీ వెన్ హీ యూస్ టు కమ్ టు షికాగో అండ్ హీ యూస్ narrate, Baba released the power, all the power that is needed to set the whole universe right. So until then he used to collect all the, it is like pulling the bow anamata. A bow string ni he used to pull anamata. That is why he never used to give any opportunities for any Baba lovers. Any few years he did the seclusion work. He was alone in his room, and he did the seclusion work anamata. So what he was doing was he was pulling the bow string so much that he accumulated all the power, and by dropping the body he released. And this release of the power which used to sustain until the next avatar comes, and until the next avatar drops the body anamata. Until then this power will be used. So in the same way, Baba now is working under the power that was relieved by Prophet Muhammad. అది అలా అని చెప్పేవారు. నేను ఎక్కడ చదవలేదు మరి ఇది, బట్ Baba culture used to talk about it a lot anamata when he used to come. And then afterwards they called the yes మీరు అందరూ మాట్లాడారు ఎప్పుడు ఎంటర్ చేయాలనేది దానికేమో మొత్తానికి వెంటనే తీసుకెళ్ళమని మెహరాబాద్లో పెట్టమని చెప్పారనమాట. when they all decided they should take the body to that Meherabad, upper Meherabad tomb and place it there అనమాట. So they called this ambulance, and ambulance లో యురిచ్, బావకల్చురి, పెండు అండ్ విలియం డాంకెన్ అనుకుంటా, వీళ్ళు నలుగురు కూర్చున్నారు బాబాగారు బాడీతో పాటు. And there was road construction going on, and the ambulance, when it was riding on the road, they used to put like big rocks there, and then on the rocks itself the ambulance used to go, and because of the potholes and the rocks, the ambulance also used to go up and down anamata, chaala peddega. Danta body kuda used to go up from that bed where the stretcher where the body was placed. So appudu Urich thought, even after passing the body, Baba was going through a lot of suffering. And so they took it there and placed the body in the big hole they made. And Baba said before passing away that he still has to suffer 7 more days అని ఆ రోజే అనుకుంటే చెప్పింది, 31st మార్నింగ్ అనుకుంటే చెప్పింది, మెన్షన్ చేశారు. బట్ ఇట్ వాజ్ నాట్ నోటీస్డ్ బై ఎనీబడి యాజ్ ఎ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ అనమాట. అండ్ దెన్ బాబా పోయారనగానే, అక్కడ పెట్టగారనగానే అక్కడ వెరీ ఫ్యూ మండలి మెంబర్స్, రైట్, ఎవ్రీబడి వాజ్ రన్నింగ్ అండ్ ట్రయింగ్ టు డూ, but somebody has to be there near the body. And then they were wondering, and suddenly this Iranian couple, nobody knew who they were, they just came, and they said they'll take care of the body. And then Urich, because whole world needs to be communicated, whole country needs to be informed about Baba's death, and there's no electricity, and all the thousands of people are going to come, and they have to make arrangements for all these people to stay. And it is a cold evenings anamata, January cold evenings. ఇంకొకటి ఏంటంటే when to enter the body అని ఒక క్వశ్చన్ వచ్చింది కదా. సో there was a lot of discussions were going on, and then Urich thought, we don't need to worry, Baba will certainly give an indication when to enter the body. అంతలోకి ఫస్ట్ 7 days ఏమో లేదు, అండ్ the 7th day the municipality of Ahmednagar came with a notice, you cannot keep too long, you have to enter the body immediately. So Urich took that as an indication anamata, and that also concurred with Mehra's desire of for keeping the body for 7 days anamata. There's another small note. One more thing ఏంటంటే, small point ఏంటంటే, Adi's junior, Baba's brother, used to live in London at that time, and their marriage took place. His son's marriage, Dara and Amrut's marriage took place, and they were staying there. And then 2 days before, or few days before, they came to say goodbye to Baba anamata, because they were going back to London. And Adi Junior was profusely weeping. For some reason, why are you weeping? And Baba adugute, Baba, for some reason I'm thinking it's the last time. Baba said, don't worry, I won't leave the body, I'm going to live for 90 days అని చెప్పారనమాట. And then he called him for a hug, and he was very afraid, because Baba was so fragile, and ఎక్కడ పట్టుకుంటే ఎక్కడ నొప్పి వస్తుందో అని చాలా భయపడుతూ హగ్ చేశాడు. హగ్ చేస్తే బాబా మాత్రం గట్టిగా పట్టుకుని he hugged him very strongly అనమాట. And then they left, and Baba hugged a lot of people. That happened to be William Donkin's birthday. So Baba came and hugged. And, Dada Chandji's couple, they were leaving, so they were also kind of afraid to touch Baba, and Baba gave a very strong hug and mata. And especially Bav Kalchiriki చెప్పానమాట you are my John. John అంటే Christ apostles కదా, one of the Christ circle members. And he said to Yurich is the Peter, he is playing the role of Peter అన్నమాట. So we were just wondering who are all his circle members. He didn't tell directly, and they also say we don't know whether we are circle or not. But నాకు అనిపించింది అనమాట, when Baba said you are my Peter to Irich and to Bauji, when he said that you are my John, so they must be playing the circle member roles. అదనమాట. And then I would like to read what happened on the day. The 8th day, February 7th, February 1969, dawned. Lovers were awake from 3 in the night. This was the last day of the Sahwas, as Baba's body was to be interred at 12:15 p.m. The trustees had decided on this issue at a meeting. Coincidentally, it was Baba's birthday, according to the Zoroastrian calendar. Ladies were dressed in fine clothes and seemed quite gay. By 4:30 a.m., all had collected at the tomb. Irich and a few others were busy arranging blocks of ice, changing the covers placed over Baba, and rearranging roses in the crypt. It was announced that exactly at 5 a.m., Baba's birth time, all should call Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai 3 times. Irich said that when Baba was with them physically, he always celebrated his birthday in this simple manner by asking the Mandali to shout Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai at 5 a.m. Mehra, Mani, and women Mandali went inside the tomb at 4:50 a.m. All stood around the tomb singing Baba's name, Satchitananda Paramananda, Meher Baba Vidyananda.
Yes.
At exactly at 5 a.m., all joined in 3 loud cheers of Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Soon after the women Mandali had garlanded Baba, the doors of the tomb were opened and they left. The darshan program started. On this birthday, the last one in his physical presence, the Mandali recalled the times they used to celebrate Baba's birthday in the early years at Meherabad. The day would start at 4:30 a.m. Baba would be clad in a new white sadra and chappals. Over the sadra, there was sure to be a new colored silk coat, such as Baba always wore. Before long, however, Baba would take off the new coat and put on his old, patched but comfortable coat. The gramophone would strike up one of Baba's favorite tunes of songs. Then would follow, sung by all, Happy Birthday to You. Baba standing, Mehra would place around his neck a simple garland of flowers from the garden. The traditional fare would be brought to the breakfast table. Rava, a sweet preparation made from cream of wheat. Baba would then call everyone to come in turn with her individual plate, and he ladled out a lavish portion of rava, giving each a look or a smile. Next, the servants were called to come with their plates. Lastly, Baba would call for a large container in which to put the remainder of the rava to take down the hill for men Mandali. In less than 5 minutes, however, Baba would be restless to be on the move and down the hill to give his prasad to the men, and Baba was then seen till late afternoon. Immediately after his return, he would order lunch to be brought in the traditional fare of rice, dal, curd, and spiced vegetables. Baba served himself and his plate was put aside. All came forward with their plates and were served by Baba. After all were served, Baba would begin to eat and all followed suit. Lunch over, Baba sent all to rest for an hour. Tea time. The bell would ring. All assembled in the refectory and saw Baba standing beside a cake, a gift from one of the devotees from Bombay. Baba would cut the cake, giving each a slice, and to the children an extra large slice. Soon Baba was off again down the hill, accompanied by Masi, the gatekeeper, and she ran beside him with quick steps as she carried the remainder of the cake on a plate and tried to keep a pace with Baba, who, umbrella in hand, led the way. Baba would return up the hill tired but happy, and the day closed with a few spiritual songs on the gramophone. Lastly, Aarti was performed with a lighted camphor, and all sang the song of worship. How different it was on this day, 7th February 1969. The darshan program began at 5 a.m. Everyone bowed down at the threshold and looked at their beloved for the last time. Only group heads and a few others were allowed inside the tomb. A very few lucky ones got the chance of going down to the crypt and touching Baba. After 7 a.m., no one was permitted to enter the tomb except the two on duty, one at the door and one fanning Baba. Almost all the women and many men came inside to offer their last service of fanning their beloved. Each one was given the fan for about 2 minutes. After dawn, there was tremendous rush. Newspapers in Pune, Ahmednagar, and in other areas had announced that today would be the last darshan and that Baba's body would be interred at 12:15 p.m., exactly 7 days after he dropped his body. Adi K. Irani, Baba's secretary and disciple for over 40 decades, came inside the tomb at about 9 a.m. He sat on the landing of the crypt, intently gazing at Baba for whom he had given his all. There was not a sacrifice which he had not made in the cause of his beloved. His money, his lands, his property, his body, mind, and heart all had been sacrificed in his love for Baba. Not only this life, but millions of lives he would sacrifice at the feet of Baba. He sat there with his elbow on his thigh and his hand supporting his head while they remained unmindful of the rush of lovers at the door. He was lost in the memories of his past with Baba. The hard work Baba had extracted from him, the fun he had had playing, eating, and moving about with Baba, the mass tours on which he had been with Baba, the days when he had heard Baba sing and talk, the days when Baba had taken him on world tours and tours to the West, the days he had spent working, toiling in his office in the cause of Baba. All this and much more came into his mind. Now he would be deprived of the beloved's company, his warm embrace, and his smile that would remove his fatigue of days. As all these memories came back to him, his eyes were filled with tears which overflowed from a heart that knows real love. One could see him wiping away those love tears every few minutes. Saying farewell to Baba was especially very poignant after spending so many years with him. Some lovers who had heard that Baba's body had not yet been interred rushed to the Ahmednagar and came on the last day. An Irani family with one of them, they came inside the tomb and the floodgates of their hearts opened and suffused their eyes with tears. These fortunate ones had a chance to see Baba before he was taken away from our physical sight for all times. Baba had once said, "My lovers are fortunate to have God in human form. in their presence. Just a glance from me can give you all you need. You will be sitting here without any outward change, but you will become what you really are. You have to wait for the moment. That moment is near, and for that you have to love me wholeheartedly. In avataric periods, one does not necessarily have to make the inner journeys by stages. If you have the grace of the avatar, he just takes you from where you are to where you should be, where God wants you to be. On the last day, someone remembered Muhammad, the must of Meherabad. He was brought to the tomb by Padri and Shidduji. Though bent at his waist, having dug dish all his life, he can stand erect for some time. He stood at the threshold of the tomb and would not come in even when asked to do so. He said, Pahel, Pahel, meaning seen, seen. He meant he had seen Baba. He then said, Bus, bus, meaning enough, enough. He went back with his guardians to his room. Kekobad, one of the Mandali, was brought to on a chair by four strong men. He had broken his hip, so was unable to walk. Baba had said that Kekobad can see him continuously all day and night in a small flame. Kekobad repeats Baba's name 100,000 times daily since many years. Once, an old lady, completely bent at right angles at her waist, came in. She would put her hand on her forehead to avoid the glare on the eyes, and she on the eyes so that she could see Baba in the crypt. When asked whether she could see Baba, she just shook her head in the negative. She seemed to have got hypermature cataracts in both eyes. She was led to the landing of the crypt, and only after she had sat down there and a torchlight focused on Baba's face could she see him. It was then that Urij told us that she was Valu, an old and faithful devotee of Baba from the early 20s. She was very dear to Baba, and though she could not see Baba well, Baba saw her and acknowledged her long, sincere, unselfish, and loving service for the avatar of the age. Tears came into her eyes as she remembered the years she had spent with Baba. They were tears of love. Who weeps for love? He weeps the best. Who cries for else? He does but just. Thousands came from Ahmednagar and from the nearby villages. All bowed at the threshold, folded their hands, and moved on. They left, but the silent inner voice of their loving, aching hearts raised a cry. When shall we behold that beloved face again? Their only solace was Baba's words, I am always with you, taking care of you. Whenever I am, wherever you are, I am with you, helping you. Those who came received his love in silence. Baba has said, devotees spent their lifetime savings and even risk life itself in pilgrimages to bow down before God in forms sanctified by tradition, and their rewards are according to tradition. But you have journeyed to bow down before God who has taken human form because of love, and your reward will be according to your love. At 11:20 a.m., all had taken Baba's darshan. The trustees came in the tomb and finalized plans. A movie cameraman and his assistant were permitted inside. Exactly at 12 noon, Dr. H. Kenmore said the Parvardigar prayers. At 12:15, three loud cheers, Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai, rang out. The doors of the tomb were temporarily closed, and Baba was covered with a clean sheet. Irich then removed the ice blocks, passing them on to the Mandali, who stood around. These in turn passed the blocks to the Westerners, who stood outside the tomb. When all the blocks were removed, the pink cloth around his head was changed for the last time. His hair was brushed. The scarf around his head made tidy dust particles on his face softly wiped away, and new roses adorned him. అంతటితోటి అయిపోయింది. అక్కడితోటి I think that's how they entered the process. అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా ki jai.
Ravi, okay, 2 minutes can I talk? We can conclude.
Yeah.
కాదు మెహరాకి వై దే గివ్ సో మచ్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ అని ఒక ఫీలింగ్ ఉండేది లేడీస్కి. ఓకే, అండ్ బాబా ఒకసారి చెప్పారు, యూ డోంట్ నో హూ ఈజ్ మెహరా, హౌ రాధా ఇస్ టు కృష్ణ, మెహరా ఇస్ లైక్ మీ. షీ వర్క్డ్ ఏ లాట్ ఇన్ మై, ఐ యూజ్ హర్ ఇన్ మై యూనివర్సల్ వర్క్ అని. ఇది కృష్ణుడికి కూడా వెన్ హీ వాజ్ ఇన్ బృందావన్, గోపికలు ఏంటి, హీ హ్యాస్ 16,000 వైఫ్స్, ఇలా ఏవో రాస్తారు. యాక్చువల్లీ వాట్ భగవద్గీతలో సే దే ఆర్ ఆల్ సెయింట్స్, నాట్ గోపికాస్. రాధా ఈజ్ ద బెస్ట్ ఫర్ హిమ్ ఫేవరెట్. ఒకసారి కృష్ణుడికి గాట్ స్టమక్ ఏక్ అంట. సార్ ఆస్క్డ్ హిస్ వైఫ్ రుక్మిణి, wash your legs, give me that water, my stomach ache will reduce. No, he said no, sin నేను చెయ్యను అంది. Then he asked all the other rest of the ladies, then he asked in Vrindavan, anybody wash their legs and give me that water so that my stomach ache will go on tear. One lady, she washed and gave the water. She is Radha. So that much, what is the highest pedestal he kept Radha. Mehra also is like Adi Shakti Shiva, like Adi Shakti, primordial power. Christ says, I am father, I am son of my father. My father and myself are same. Ante same person kada. He is like Parabrahma state laga, a primordial power. You take the energy from there. He himself same. So I want to tell you the importance of Mehra. Why they given, all of them given so much importance, because she participated in Baba's universal work. Jai Baba.
Pray చదువు గీత, pray చదువు.
A nice session. We had the concluding part of our this one Amartithi. Very interesting. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more and more and more and still yet more, till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman till the very end. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you, Baba. Thank you for your grace of love. Thank you. We are grateful to you. Jai Baba. Bye.